Welcome to ISE's Equity Index Weekly Outlook, a weekly outlook on ISE and other industry indexes, hosted by Patrick Ceresna, a derivative market specialist and investment manager with extensive expertise in options and the broader derivative markets. ISE trades options on more than 15 proprietary sector indexes, as well as broad-based indexes and a variety of licensed benchmarks. ISE continually enhances its trading systems and develops new index options products to provide investors with the best marketplace and investment tools to trade smarter. Thank you for participating in this week's session. Please join us again next week. For more information about Patrick Ceresna and to sign up for free index options trade alerts, visit www.optionsource.net. To learn more about ISE index options, visit us at www.ise.com/indexoptions.
Hello and welcome to the ISE Equity Index Outlook for January 24th, 2011. This is Patrick Ceresna. As always, we start off with the S&P 500 using that spider exchange rate fund symbol SPY. We were looking for a short-term high to come in around this 129, 130 area on the upside. We had a reversal in the middle of last week, and subsequently the markets have been holding lower. There is a chance that this is actually the beginning of that profit-taking cycle. But in order for us to verify that that's the case, what we need is a follow-through sell day. What usually happens is there's one reversal day like we had in the middle of last week, and subsequently it takes even 2, 3, 4 days of price action to determine whether or not the bulls are prepared to take this market to another level. So really Monday and Tuesday are going to play a critical role, because if the bulls really can't get this market back above 129 and pushing back toward the highs of the session, then the bears will probably begin one more wave of selling, which will eventually have this correction gain a little bit of steam. The key thing that I want to emphasize the word correction. We do not believe at this moment that we're seeing the beginning of a new bear market or a new major sell-off. Even if it was, there would be a multi-month topping formation with numerous retests up along the top side. So it's far too early to even speculate on that. But nonetheless, we are anticipating some sort of profit-taking cycle, which should amount to being a buying opportunity. So really at this stage, we continue to advocate holding above average amounts of cash and wait for market weakness to accumulate. Next year, I want to take a look at the ISE US Regional Banks Index, which is the symbol JLO. Here, we had the regional banks hit this 25, 50, 26 zone on the upside, and subsequently reject there on a couple occasions. So we put in our focal point right at that zone. We really are sort of stuck in this little sideways trade range bound zone in here. The regional banks have very bullishly worked into this positive manner. I do believe that we should still even see one more leg higher on the regional banks, but if the whole market goes through profit taking, we could see a short-term dip that dips right back down towards the 24, 23.50 area on the downside, down toward that red line, but overall that should end up again being a buying opportunity if the whole market reverses up. Next year, I want to take a look at the ISE Sindex, which is a symbol SIN. This is an index of all the casino, tobacco, and distiller companies. In the bigger picture, I'm not as optimistic about the Sindex as I am about regional banks and the broader markets. I do believe that this 136 to 138 is a very important level on the Sindex, which should act as a formidable overhead resistance. And while we certainly will not rule out the possibility that we may have a retest of those, but at this juncture, with there being 3 solid days of selling on the Sindex, there seems to definitely be distribution going on in this sector. If we have any break of this 31 level with any momentum on the downside on the Sindex, we should be testing that 125, 127 zone on the downside, where we should probably get our first solid bounce off of if the selling does accelerate here. Next here, I want to take a look at the ISE Home Builders Index, which is symbol RUF. And here, the home builders have actually had a very robust leg higher up toward the $11 target that we had, where our focal point lies. Really, at this stage, we saw about 3-4 days of solid selling, where it came all the way back down towards the 1030 area on the downside. Really, at this stage, there should be some support lines coming in the next 30 cents lower as we approach some of those key levels. But there's nothing stopping, if the whole market is selling, of a test even as low as 960. Overall, the home builders should base at some stage here and roll back up for another leg higher into the second quarter. But let's just see how deep and how far the selling goes before we start talking about where we're going to accumulate. Next here, I want to take a look at the ISE Natural Gas Index, which is symbol FUM. We had an upside target of this 125, 130 area, and now that we had a very sharp reversal off that point, we're going to mark off that 123, 125 as a major support resistance line. Really, at this stage, it would be very natural for us to go through a full profit-taking cycle here. Again, that doesn't mean that the natural gas index will not return back to its previous highs or even attempt a higher high. But at this stage, especially if the whole market goes through that profit-taking cycle, we should see testing of 114, 116 on the downside again. Finally, I want to take a look at that ISE Mini FTSE 100 Index, which is the symbol UKX. We had a rejection along the 600, 610 area on the upside. We were targeting that all along as where we felt that this leg of the rally would actually stop. With those reversals that we just saw in the last couple of days, it really does mark a short-term high right up there, so that's why we put that 600, 610 focal point there. In the bigger picture, I still actually believe that 630, 640 is a reasonable target, but like I said all along, is that target cannot probably would not be achieved in one straight line motion. So we're going to go through a profit-taking cycle here, and eventually when it rolls up, that may still be a reasonable target for the upside. That was your ISE Equity Index Outlook. Thank you for joining us.